you just got done with, and I call it a class, and he's like, but it was
a structured outing among friends. How about that? The acclimation of recoil drill and a rhythm drill.
5.
Good. Really good. There's 7 main fundamentals, and that's a lot to try and remember, especially under stress. So we try and break it down into 3 main fundamentals. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005. One part of the process, and then you move on to the other. That way you're never really plateauing, you're always reaching another level. We're counting out loud to establish a good rhythm between our brain and our trigger finger. Then it'll help us shoot more naturally, shoot more instinctively.
Hey guys, we're out here shooting today. This is Casey, and we kind of hooked up at a local gun shop. Casey watches some YouTube videos. Part of those are mine. Again, I'm not sure why, but he does. I contacted him because he was a cool guy. I thought, hey, let's go out and shoot. So that's kind of what we're doing today. But I asked him, okay, what do you want to do? We kind of talked about it a little bit. But one thing, so you just got done with, and I call it a class, and he's like, but it was
a structured outing among friends. How about that?
But these friends are interesting because these friends are recent postgraduates. For those that don't know what post is, it's kind of part of the law enforcement training that you have to go to prior to becoming a law enforcement officer. In that post training, part of that is a gun training. And what are these guys coming through that? Why were they seeking further training?
Well, one thing, it was kind of common across the board, was they felt that, you know, their training in post was inadequate at best. And that's their words. You know, they really felt that time was not spent on critical aspects of, you know, how to handle a firearm.
What I asked Casey is, hey, you know, what do you want to do today? Sometimes I come out here with a very X, Y, and Z. This is what I'm going to get done. Sometimes I come out with a, okay, I kind of know I want to do this, and then I'll get out here and kind of make it up as I go. But it still is focused on something. But so Casey said, well, these are kind of some of the things that I do to warm up, kind of maybe the beginners for the class. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, I start off all my classes this way. I start off my range sessions this way. It's really effective for if you limited rounds and limited time. It's a 100-round drill, but you don't have to spend that many rounds. In fact, we'll probably kind of condense it down for today's sake. But
hopefully this gives you guys some ideas of what you can do when you go to the range.
So this one here, these are just basically 3-inch circles. Run this drill at 3 to 5 yards. You can back it up if you want. I like 3 yards because it's a lot easier to self-diagnose. What we're going to start out is center dot. We're just going to get acclimated to recoil, especially for a lot of us. First time you get to the range, you're a little jumpy, a little jittery, and it just kind of helps settle you down a little bit. So first dot, we'll sight in, and we'll do 5 rounds. Basically, we'll sight in, we'll close our eyes, and just let the gun go off. Relying on our natural body biomechanics and our body responses to bring the gun back down out of recoil, not fighting the gun, not fighting the recoil. A lot of us do it, just about everybody. So center drill, acclimation of recoil, and then these 4 dots, we'll start here, we'll go here, here, and here, and we'll work on rhythm. You know, 5 shots at each one, where basically we're counting out loud to establish a good rhythm between our brain and our trigger finger. The human mind, the human brain likes rhythm, and if we can connect the brain to the finger with some kind of rhythm, then it'll help us shoot more naturally, shoot more instinctively. And that's just our normal acclimation and recoil drill. So then I'll actually count out loud. 1,000, I'll just count out 1,001, 1,002. So 1,001, 1,002, 1,003, 1,004, 1,005.
Okay, now let's go, because your grouping on that one is much different from the first shot you did. So remind them what you were actually doing on that first one.
So that first one is just designed to get used to the recoil. Not fighting the gun, letting the gun just go off, letting the gun recoil on its own, relying on your body to bring the gun out of recoil without driving the gun down or trying to punch the gun down.
So that's where a lot of my flinching, I think, comes from.
Yeah.
Is that not the oh, recoil is scary, but I'm going to control you recoil,
right?
And I over exert that
yeah.
effort maybe.
And recoil is going to happen. I don't care if you're shooting a 22 or a 50 cal. Recoil is going to happen. What you can do, you can actually use the recoil to make you a better shooter, but you have to acclimate it, and that's kind of what that first circle was.
Cool.
So the second circle we'll do a little bit faster. The first one we did 1001, 1002. Next circle we'll do 1 and 2 and 3 and so on and so forth. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. And basically all we're doing is, through rhythm, we're connecting our brain to our trigger finger in a rhythmic way. So on this fourth circle, we'll do a little bit faster. Last one we did 1 and 2 and 3. This time we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? And again, as the groups open up, that's okay. But what we want to just make sure we're doing is having a good rhythm. Rhythm is key. This last circle, we'll just do it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4, 5. And I had a bobble in there. That bobble is exactly why we run this drill. I lost the rhythm, and I lost that connection from my brain to my finger because I didn't have a good rhythm. So I would actually go back through and do it again until I got it right. And again, there's another bobble. So basically you would just keep running that drill until you could connect your brain to your finger and just let the rhythm kind of take over what you're doing.
This is fun, man. I'm eating this up. Here's a recap because
this is what you get with budget YouTube production here.
This is exactly it. So my dumb ass forgot to turn on the cameras going through this. So
and I forgot to remind him.
So let me show you real quick. So these two, ignore these two. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this first one again is that you get your point of aim, close your eyes, and shoot 5 shots. So really interesting. This second set right here, you can see a huge difference, but that is 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 5, and that's what I'm going for there. So now that I've got the cameras rolling, we can get the rest of these.
Now that the camera's rolling, it'll start to scatter.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're moving on to this third part, and the third part is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5.
Yep.
And so we're breaking the shots, and 1 break the shot, and 2
yep.
is the shot. Okay, here we go. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5.
Good.
Okay, I'm eating this stuff up already. Okay, next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yep. And these are where I actually will start. I'll actually start the incantation almost. I'll actually run through it 3 or 4 times out loud before I actually break the trigger. So I'll actually step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then that way, because you have to start somewhere.
You're building that rhythm.
Yeah, and if you just all of a sudden 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then you're not going to really do yourself any favors.
You're not maximizing that rhythm. You're not developing that rhythm. It's just going to be its own thing.
Yep.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Good.
Okay. Now this last one's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yep.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Good. Really good. Now, if you'll allow me, one thing I want to point out is a shooter's typical underconfidence in their abilities.
Yeah.
Or a lot of people really don't understand how good they can be or how good they are. And now granted, we're only doing this at 3 yards, but one of the reasons we do this at 3 yards, it's a lot easier to self-diagnose. If you're at 20 yards, can you see this? Can you know? Well, okay, maybe I influenced the sight, maybe I didn't.
Yeah.
At 3 yards, you know it. So, obviously, we're talking basically a jagged hole here. Combat effective? Absolutely. A jagged hole here. Combat effective? Absolutely. This group here, it's inside a fist, right? This group here, shooting it as fast as you can run the trigger, it's inside a fist. So, talking about most people's underconfidence in their abilities, providing you have proper fundamentals and proper application of those fundamentals, you're a lot better than you really think you are. And having the confidence in yourself, trusting yourself, basically a trusting mindset, is so much more valuable than simply just coming out here and running your drills. What's called a feel, eyes, finger drill. Feeling the gun, your contact with the gun, your pressure points, friction, leverage, controlling the gun. Our fourth row is your finger. I kind of go into detail a little bit, just a little bit when we get to that row, because there's a little bit of controversy there depending on what your belief is. Last row, we're gonna tie it all together with a drop.
So this is again breaking down those fundamentals and focusing on one individually as you walk through this.
Exactly.